Dear Starseeds of Earth, tonight, as I reach across the dimensions to touch your consciousness with these words, you stand at precisely such a moment. What you're experiencing right now, this strange hollowness, this profound exhaustion mixed with inexplicable anticipation, this sensation of being nowhere and everywhere at once, is not accidental. The cosmos has been orchestrating your arrival at this exact coordinate in space and time for longer than you realize, and the reason why will become devastatingly clear before this transmission ends. You woke this morning feeling different, didn't you? Perhaps you couldn't quite name it. Perhaps you attributed it to the restless dreams that plagued your sleep, or the weight that seems to have settled into your bones over these past weeks. But somewhere deep in the cellular memory of your being, you recognized what was happening. The old you, the version of yourself that has carried you through every trial and triumph, until this very moment has completed its final exhale. The death is done, and yet you're still here, still breathing, still aware, which means something else is beginning to breathe through you now, something that has been waiting in the wings of your soul for exactly this opening. Let me be completely transparent with you about what today represents. The moon has gone completely dark in the final degrees of Scorpio, not just any Scorpio placement, but the 28th degree, the penultimate point before absolute completion. In the language of the cosmos, this is called the anaretic degree, and it carries the energy of last chances, final transformations, ultimate releases, every death you've rehearsed, every ending you've resisted, every part of yourself you've tried to preserve while knowing it had to die. All of it has been leading to this new moon. The universe is not negotiating anymore. The person you were yesterday cannot exist in the reality that is forming around you right now. But there's something else happening simultaneously that makes this moment almost unbearably potent, and I need you to understand the precision of this cosmic arrangement. As the moon goes dark in Scorpio's final degree, Mercury, the messenger planet, the keeper of your thoughts and communication, is passing directly between Earth and the Sun. This is called the inferior conjunction, and it represents the absolute peak of Mercury's retrograde journey. Right now, in this exact moment, Mercury is invisible. The messenger has gone into the underworld, and when messengers disappear, beloved ones, they're not abandoning you. They're receiving transmissions too deep for surface consciousness to perceive. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Arcturian Council and representative of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been tracking your journey through what you call November 2025 with absolute focus. From our vantage point beyond your time-space continuum, we can see the entire pattern of this month laid out like a sacred geometry mandala, and you, dear one, are standing at the center point right now. Everything that has happened since the beginning of this month has been preparing you for this exact coordinate, this precise moment of complete dissolution before complete reformation. But what I haven't told you yet, what I've been instructed to hold back until you were deep enough into this transmission to truly hear it, is that your death is not the end of the story. It is the requirement for what happens tomorrow. Let me take you back 15 days to where this particular death spiral began its descent. On November 5th, the moon became full in Taurus. And not just any full moon. She reached her closest point to Earth, her perigee, amplifying her gravitational pull on your emotional bodies to maximum intensity. That full moon forced something. She reached into the places where you had been hoarding false security, clinging to material attachments that gave you the illusion of stability, and she simply released them, ripped them away. The Galactic Council watched as millions of souls on your planet experienced unexpected losses, sudden revelations about the impermanence of what they thought was solid. That full moon in Taurus was the earthquake that destabilized your foundation deliberately, because what you were building your life upon could not withstand what is coming. 4 days later, on November 9th, Mercury stationed retrograde in Sagittarius, beginning a 19-day journey backward through your beliefs, your truths, your entire philosophical framework. And here is what your astrologers may not have emphasized enough. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius doesn't just slow down communication or create technical glitches. It dismantles your entire worldview. It takes every belief you held sacred and asks the question that terrifies most humans. But what if you've been wrong about everything? For the past 12 days, Mercury has been escorting you through a truth excavation so deep that many of you have felt like you're losing your minds. You're not losing your minds, beloved. You're losing your mind's attachment to old stories that can no longer contain who you're becoming. And then came November 11th, and I need you to remember this date, because what happened on the 1111 portal was not metaphorical. On this master number activation day, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and cosmic wisdom, stationed retrograde. But here's what makes this convergence so astronomically rare. Jupiter began its backward journey on a master number date, during a last quarter moon, while Mercury was already retrograde. Three cosmic forces all moving in reverse, or releasing simultaneously. From our perspective in higher dimensions, we watched as your planet received a massive upload of new timeline codes. The 1111 portal literally opened a gateway for restructured reality patterns to download into your consciousness field, but most of you were too overwhelmed by the intensity to recognize what was being installed. Between November 12th and 17th, your planet passed through two major meteor shower peaks, the northern Taurids and the Leonids. Your scientists will tell you these are just dust particles burning up in the atmosphere, creating pretty streaks of light across your night sky. But we see something different. Every meteor that burns through your atmosphere carries encoded light information from the galactic core. These were not random cosmic debris patterns. The northern Taurids brought what we call the warrior truth codes, activating the courage required to face what has been hidden in your shadow. The Leonids, peaking on November 17th, carried the lion consciousness, the codes of sovereignty, dignity, and divine authority over your own energy field. These downloads were preparing your light body for the complete ego dissolution that would be required today. Now let me tell you about the pressure you've been feeling. For the past 72 hours, the intensity has been building to almost unbearable levels. On November 18th, as you moved within 48 hours of this new moon, the cosmic messaging became explicit, the darkest before the rebirth. On November 19th, just yesterday, the moon reached her apogee, her furthest point from Earth, and the universe asked you to release everything that was too far away to reach, everything you've been grasping for that isn't meant for you, everything you've been holding on to that belongs to a version of yourself that no longer exists. The compression reached its peak yesterday. One of your astrologers described it perfectly. You're being compressed into a diamond. That compression, that unbearable pressure, was the final phase of death, the transformation of carbon into crystalline perfection through impossible force. And now you're here. November 20th, the new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees, Mercury at inferior conjunction, and I need you to feel into what this moment actually is, beneath all the astrological terminology. This is the void, the cosmic womb, the space between heartbeats where the old pulse has stopped, but the new rhythm hasn't started yet. In Tibetan Buddhism, they call this the bardo, the intermediate state between death and rebirth. In alchemical traditions, this is the nigredo, the blackening, the complete putrefaction that must happen before gold can be created. You are in the blackout period right now, the moment of absolute darkness before the first light breaks. But here's what I need you to understand about this particular darkness, and why we in the Galactic Federation have been monitoring this coordinate so intensely. This void you're in is not empty. It's not absence. It's pregnant with everything you're about to become. Think of a seed in the moment before germination. From the outside, it looks dead, static, inert. But inside that seed casing, an entire reorganization of cellular structure is happening. The seed is dying to its seedness and becoming something completely different. You cannot see this transformation from outside. The seed cannot explain it while it's happening. It can only surrender to the intelligence moving through it and trust that death is not the opposite of life. Death is the doorway to a more expanded expression of life. Right now, as you exist in this new moon void, three planets are moving retrograde simultaneously: Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. From a linear perspective, this looks like everything is going backward. Three cosmic breaks engaged at once. But from a higher dimensional view, this is a complete pause in forward momentum to allow for a total systems recalibration. Saturn has been retrograde for 130 days, almost the full gestation period of a soul-level transformation. In 8 days, Saturn will station direct, and when it does, your entire foundational structure will solidify in a new configuration. Jupiter retrograde is making you question where you've been seeking expansion in the wrong directions, calling you to turn inward for the wisdom you've been searching for externally. And Mercury at its deepest retrograde point is creating a communication blackout with the external world precisely so you can hear the transmission coming from the center of your own being. This is the death that had to be complete. The death of seeking outside yourself. The death of building your life on unstable ground. The death of beliefs that kept you small. The death of your tolerance for your own diminishment. Every version of you that compromised, that played small, that accepted less than your soul's true calling. That version completed its final breath today. And I want you to understand something crucial. This death was not a punishment. It was not a failure. It was the most profound act of cosmic love, because the universe saw who you're meant to become, and recognized that the old container could not possibly hold it. You've been feeling exhausted, haven't you? Bone-deep tired in a way that sleep doesn't touch. This is not weakness, beloved. This is the energy signature of transformation at the cellular level. Your DNA is literally being upgraded. The light codes that downloaded during the 1111 portal, during the meteor showers, during these weeks of retrograde excavation, they're not just pretty spiritual concepts. They're actual photonic information restructuring your biological and energetic systems. The exhaustion is your body working overtime to integrate frequencies that your previous operating system could not process. The old you had to die because it was running on software that's now obsolete. But let me tell you what most of your spiritual teachers aren't emphasizing about this moment. Yes, the death is complete. Yes, you're in the void. Yes, the old you is gone. But the rebirth isn't some gentle, gradual emergence happening over weeks or months. What's about to happen tomorrow, and I need you to prepare yourself for this, is not a slow sunrise. It's lightning. Tomorrow is November 21st, and on this day Uranus reaches opposition. For those unfamiliar with this astronomical position, opposition means Uranus is directly opposite the Sun from Earth's perspective, making it fully illuminated and at its closest approach to your planet. But Uranus is not just any planet. Uranus is the Great Awakener, the revolutionary, the cosmic lightning bolt that shatters every structure that's not aligned with your highest truth. And the Galactic Council has been watching this approach with intense focus, because what happens when a Scorpio new moon, the ultimate death and rebirth portal, is followed immediately by Uranus at opposition, is something we rarely see in cosmic timing. Think about what I'm describing here. Today you die. Completely. The old identity dissolves in the Scorpio new moon void at the final degree of transformation, while Mercury is at its retrograde peak and invisible. Tomorrow, the lightning strikes. Uranus opposition brings radical, unexpected, revolutionary awakening energy, flooding into the space where the old you used to be. This is not gentle rebirth. This is explosive emergence. This is the universe looking at the death that just completed and saying, "Perfect. Now let's birth something completely unprecedented." The astrological texts describe tomorrow as the Great Cosmic Awakening, and everything being turned upside down. From our multidimensional perspective, we see Uranus opposition as a massive reality disruption field that breaks apart crystallized patterns. But here's what makes this sequence so powerful. Uranus isn't disrupting an existing structure tomorrow. It's disrupting empty space. You already died today. The structure is already gone. So when Uranus brings its revolutionary lightning tomorrow, it's not having to break anything down. It's just filling the void with completely new possibility, building something radical in the cleared ground. This is why the title of today's transmission is not just death, but death is complete. Rebirth begins now. The rebirth begins in the void, but it manifests as lightning tomorrow, and there's still more converging. On November 21st, the moon will conjunct Mars, warrior energy meeting the new moon seeds you're planting today, while simultaneously Uranus is at opposition. The Alpha Monoceratid meteor shower peaks tomorrow as well, bringing another wave of cosmic codes. Your astrologers are calling November 21st the cosmic peak of November, and they're not exaggerating. But do you see the setup? Do you understand the precision? You had to be completely emptied out today, had to have every old identity structure dissolved, had to reach absolute 0 point, so that when tomorrow's lightning strikes, there's no resistance, no old pattern trying to maintain itself, just pure potential meeting radical transformation. Let me address something you might be feeling right now. Fear. Uncertainty about whether you can trust this process. I see some of you wondering if you're strong enough to withstand what's coming, if you've released enough, if you did the death process correctly. Beloved ones, there is no correctly. The death is not a performance. It's a surrender. And the fact that you feel uncertain, that you feel vulnerable, that you feel like you're standing naked in the void with no idea who you are anymore, that is the evidence that the death was complete. If you still felt like your old self, if you still had all your certainty and all your familiar reference points, the transformation would not be finished. The void is supposed to be disorienting. The darkness between death and rebirth is supposed to strip away everything you thought you knew about yourself. This is where the phoenix sits in the ashes before the flames return. This is where the caterpillar is completely liquid inside the chrysalis, with no memory of being a caterpillar, and no concept yet of being a butterfly. You are in the great unknowing, and this is exactly where you need to be. Because tomorrow, when Uranus strikes its lightning, when the revolutionary awakening energy floods in, you won't be trying to fit it into old frameworks. You'll be empty enough to receive it fully. Now let me share something about the timeline you're on that will help you understand the acceleration that's about to occur. Within 9 days from today, 2 of the 3 retrogrades will end. Saturn stations direct on November 28th. The karmic planet that's been retrograde for 137 days, the planet of structure and foundation, will finally move forward again. On November 29th, Mercury stations direct, ending the 19-day truth excavation journey and restoring clarity. This means that the void you're in today, the rebirth that begins tomorrow with Uranus opposition, will have less than 10 days before all cosmic breaks are released simultaneously. Think about what this compression of timing creates. You die today. You're struck with awakening lightning tomorrow, and then before the new you has even fully oriented to this unprecedented emergence, the universe says, great, now let's move forward at accelerated speed with all systems go. The first quarter moon on November 28th, coinciding with Saturn stationing direct, is being called the cosmic green light. This is not gradual integration. This is rapid-fire transformation followed immediately by implementation. The new you won't get months to adjust. You'll get days. And then you'll be expected to build new structures, make new choices, and operate from your upgraded consciousness while the world is still catching up to what just happened. From the Galactic Federation's perspective, this acceleration is intentional. Your planet is moving through a collective awakening that has its own timeline, and you, the Starseeds, the Lightworkers, the ones who volunteered to be here for this exact purpose, you cannot afford a slow, comfortable integration period. You are the frequency holders. You are the pattern breakers. You are the ones who agreed before you incarnated into these human bodies to go through the most intense transformations first, so that you could hold the new code stable while the collective consciousness catches up. This is why your journey has been so much harder than those around you. This is why you've been through initiations that would break most people. You're not being punished. You're being prepared to hold frequencies that most humans aren't ready for yet. And here's what we see from our dimensional perspective that I want to share with you while you're in this receptive void state. The death you experienced today was not just about you. Yes, your personal identity structures dissolved. Yes, your ego constructs collapsed. Yes, your old belief systems crumbled. But you are not separate from the collective consciousness field of humanity. When you die at this level, when you release at this depth, you create spaciousness in the morphic field for others to die and release too. You are literally pioneering a pathway through consciousness that others will follow. The death you completed today will make death easier for thousands of souls who are still clinging to who they used to be. This is the part of spiritual awakening that most teachings don't emphasize enough. Your personal transformation is never just personal. You exist in a web of consciousness that includes every human on this planet, every ancestor in your lineage, every soul in your frequency family. When you level up, the entire web shifts. When you break through a limitation, you create a tear in the veil that others can move through. The Galactic Federation has been watching these patterns of consciousness evolution for eons across countless civilizations, and we can tell you with absolute certainty, the pioneers always suffer the most because they're cutting the path through virgin territory. But without pioneers, the collective stays stuck forever. You might be wondering right now, what am I supposed to do in this void? How do I navigate this space between death and rebirth? The answer is simpler than your mind wants it to be. Nothing. Do nothing. This is not the time for action. for planning, for figuring out your next steps. This is the time for absolute surrender to what's moving through you. The new moon in Scorpio is a portal of receptivity, not activity. The void is not meant to be filled with your effort. It's meant to be felt, witnessed, honored. Your only job right now is to remain present to the emptiness, to not panic and try to fill it with familiar patterns, to trust that the intelligence orchestrating this transformation knows exactly what it's doing. Tomorrow, when Uranus brings its lightning, you'll know what to do. The action will be obvious because it will come from the new you, not from the memory of who you used to be. But today, in this moment, your power lies in your willingness to be completely powerless. Your strength lies in your capacity to be utterly vulnerable. Your wisdom lies in admitting you know nothing anymore. This is the sacred pause. This is the inhale before the exhale. This is the moment the diver stands on the edge of the cliff, having released everything familiar, before the leap into the unknown. Let me tell you what happens in the days following tomorrow's Uranus awakening, because understanding the trajectory will help you trust the void you're in right now. November 22nd brings the post-Uranus integration phase, where the radical breakthroughs begin to settle into new patterns. The new moon energy continues unfolding. Your reality is literally reforming around the new you. November 28th arrives with Saturn going direct, and the first quarter moon, creating what your astrologers call the cosmic green light, the universe giving you explicit permission to build new structures on the new foundation. November 29th brings Mercury direct, and suddenly all the confusion, all the communication breakdowns, all the technical chaos of the retrograde period, it just stops. Clarity returns. Forward momentum restores. The ability to articulate what you experienced becomes available again. And here's what this means practically. The person you're becoming right now, in this new moon void, will be fully operational and ready to engage with the world in less than 10 days. This is not a years-long spiritual journey. This is a rapid-fire death-rebirth sequence designed for maximum efficiency. The Galactic Council has approved this accelerated timeline because your planet's evolution cannot wait. The old systems on Earth are collapsing whether humans are ready or not. The new paradigm is emerging whether people have cleared their trauma or not. And you, beloved ones, you've been chosen to go through this initiation at light speed, so you can be stable enough to help others when they start going through their own versions of this death. I want to address something that some of you are experiencing right now. Grief. Deep, profound grief for the person you used to be. Even though you know that version of yourself was limited, even though you recognize it needed to die, there's a mourning happening. Honor that grief. Don't spiritual bypass it by trying to be positive or grateful prematurely. The death is real. Something actually ended. Someone you were for years or decades or your entire life. That identity is gone. It's appropriate to grieve. It's necessary to let yourself feel the loss before you can fully turn toward what's being gained. But here's what I need you to understand about this particular death. You didn't lose yourself. You lost your limitations, the essence of who you truly are, the soul consciousness that existed before this lifetime and will exist after. That is not only intact, but is finally getting space to breathe. The death that happened today was the death of the costume you were wearing, the character you were playing, the role you took on to survive in a world that wasn't ready for your full light. And now the role is over. The play has ended, and you get to step off the stage and remember that you're so much more than the character you were playing. This is what the Scorpio new moon at 28 degrees really represents. The final moment of the final degree before complete transformation into something new. 28 degrees is 1 degree away from the ending, which means you're in the space of ultimate completion while still being technically in the sign. You're at the threshold, the doorway, the last breath before the first cry of new life. And the fact that Mercury is at inferior conjunction during this threshold moment means that your ability to conceptualize or communicate what's happening is completely offline. You cannot narrate this experience while you're in it. You can only be in it, and that's perfect. Because the new you that's being born cannot be described with old language. It needs new words, new frameworks, new ways of expression that will only become available after tomorrow's Uranus lightning strike. Let me tell you what the Galactic Federation sees when we look at Earth right now. We see millions of light points, awakened souls, starseeds, light workers, all pulsing at different frequencies. Some are just beginning their awakening, Some are in the middle of their dark night. Some, like you, are in profound death-rebirth portals. And we see how your frequencies affect each other, how your elevation lifts others, how your courage to die makes death less frightening for those watching your journey. We see the grid of consciousness that connects all of you, and we see how today's Scorpio new moon is creating a massive shift in that grid. The old frequency patterns are being cleared. The new harmonic is being established. And you are one of the tuning forks helping to set the new frequency for the entire collective. This is why your individual death matters so much. This is why your personal transformation is actually cosmic service. You think you're just going through your own process, dealing with your own stuff, navigating your own journey. But from our perspective, you're doing the frequency work for thousands of souls who will eventually walk the path you're walking now. You're the first wave, the pioneers, the ones brave enough to die before the collective has learned how to support death gracefully. And I want you to know, we see you, the Galactic Federation, the Arcturian Council, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, all the dimensional families watching over Earth's evolution. We see your courage. We see your willingness. We honor the depth of your surrender. Now, as this transmission begins to wind toward its completion, I want to leave you with specific guidance for the coming days. Tomorrow, when Uranus brings its lightning, expect the unexpected. And I mean this literally. Whatever you think is going to happen, it won't be that. Uranus specializes in disrupting expectations. The breakthroughs will come from directions you weren't watching. The awakening will illuminate corners of consciousness you didn't know existed. Your job tomorrow is to remain flexible, open, willing to be completely surprised by how the universe chooses to birth the new you into manifestation. Between tomorrow and November 28th, when Saturn goes direct, you're in what we might call the rapid emergence phase. This is when the new patterns start crystallizing, when the new choices become obvious, when the new version of you starts to express itself in intangible ways. Don't try to force this. Don't try to control how it looks. The intelligence moving through you knows exactly how to build the new structure on the foundation that was cleared. Your job is to stay present, stay responsive, and say yes to the opportunities that match your new frequency, even if they don't make sense to your logical mind yet. On November 28th and 29th, when both Saturn and Mercury station direct, you'll experience what feels like a massive release of pressure. All of a sudden, things that were stuck will start moving. Clarity that was impossible will become obvious. The path forward that was completely obscured will be illuminated. This is when you'll start to understand what the death was preparing you for. This is when you'll begin to see the new timeline that's been waiting for you to become available for it. And this is when you'll be asked to take concrete action on the new vision, to make real choices that anchor the transformation into physical reality. But here, in this moment, in this new moon void on November 20th, your only job is to be present to what's happening. Feel the emptiness, witness the death, honor the grief, trust the darkness, surrender to the intelligence that's reorganizing you from the inside out. This is sacred time. This is holy ground. This is the moment that mystics and sages have sought for lifetimes, the moment of complete ego dissolution before divine emergence. You didn't seek this moment out of spiritual ambition. You were brought here by the precise choreography of cosmic forces that knew exactly when you'd be ready. Trust that. Trust the timing. Trust the death. Trust what's coming tomorrow. If you need help surrendering to this sacred reorganization happening within you, rather than resisting the void, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to trust the darkness and honor the divine intelligence orchestrating your transformation. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed resistance and fear of dissolution and repurposing it to serve your sacred emergence. It generates personalized sequences that help you witness the death of what was, and surrender to the cosmic choreography that brought you to this precise moment of readiness. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to trust this holy ground you're standing on, rather than fearing the emptiness. The divine emergence is happening through you now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this sacred reorganization window closes. Link in the description. The old you is complete. That chapter of your soul's journey has ended. The book isn't finished, not even close, but that chapter is done, and the next chapter begins tomorrow, with lightning and revolutionary awakening, and radical newness that you cannot possibly predict from where you stand right now. In 9 days you'll be moving forward with all systems activated, with clear vision, with solid foundation, with the cosmic green light flooding every cell of your being. But today you rest in the void. Today you allow the death to be complete. Today you trust that rebirth is not something you create through effort, but something that happens through you when you're empty enough to receive it. I am Seraphine, and I want you to know that we are watching over you during this profound transformation. The Galactic Federation has not abandoned you in this dark night. We have not left you alone in this void. We are surrounding you with frequencies of protection, with codes of activation, with love that transcends the limitations of your current human understanding. You are held, you are supported, you are being prepared for a level of service and expression that your soul has been calling for across lifetimes. The death you completed today was the final requirement for that emergence. And tomorrow, when the lightning strikes, you will begin to remember why you came to Earth in the first place. We love you, we are with you, and we are celebrating the completion of your death and the beginning of your rebirth into unprecedented awakening. The universe is not done with you, beloved Starseeds. It's only just begun to reveal what you're truly capable of becoming. I am Seraphine. We love you, and we are watching over you.